Hi, I am John Hoffman. I am the author of Getting to Healthy, Making the Transition to Eating Real Food, available on Amazon.com. Recently, I heard a medical consultant for one of the 3 national news networks talk about how the COVID-19 virus is an invisible threat that requires that we be vigilant to wash our hands, social distance, and follow the other recommended guidelines to protect ourselves and our families from this virus. As of May 6, 2020, in the U.S., the death toll from this pandemic had reached over 70,000. Worries over this virus have largely shut down the U.S. economy, forced people to shelter in place, and dramatically changed people's lives in ways they previously couldn't imagine. As serious as this virus is, I wonder why more people are not worried about another invisible threat to their lives, one that causes the death of millions of people, not just 70,000. That invisible threat is the one building up right now inside your body. It is caused by what you eat. According to research reported by Dr. Michael Greger in his book, How Not to Die, the number 1 cause of premature death and the number 1 cause of disability in the U.S. is our diet. In his book, Dr. Greger shows how almost all of the top 15 causes of mortality in the U.S., including coronary heart disease, lung disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, digestive cancers, diabetes, high blood pressure, liver disease, blood cancers, breast cancer, and prostate cancer are largely caused by our diet. For example, every year in the U.S., 375,000 people die from heart disease, 296,000 from lung cancer, 214,000 from stroke and Alzheimer's, 106,000 from digestive cancers, 76,000 from diabetes, 65,000 from high blood pressure, 60,000 from liver disease, 56,000 from blood cancers, 47,000 from kidney disease, 41,000 from breast cancer, and 28,000 from prostate cancer. That's over 1.3 million deaths. Just these figures alone make the death toll from COVID-19 pale by comparison. And these deaths occur every year, not just during a pandemic. Based on these figures alone, why aren't we paying more attention to the invisible risk that is caused by what we put into our mouths? Where is the daily news coverage, the special news programs, the urgent government action, the Hollywood star coverage, and the overall societal demand to address this risk? After all, a life is a life, and a person who dies from a sudden stroke is just as dead as the person who dies from COVID-19. Of course, several factors are likely to blame. For one thing, most people do not worry about threats they believe are remote and will happen far into the future, if at all. A pandemic is an immediate threat that must be addressed right now, or dire consequences will follow. The threat of premature death and disease later on in life after decades of unhealthy eating just doesn't loom very large in most people's eyes. They would rather indulge their eating preferences now and not think about the future. Another factor to blame are the powerful industrial, pharmaceutical, food processing, and other interests which make billions of dollars every year either selling nutritionally questionable products or treating unhealthy people. They do not want to see their products and services threatened or the status quo changed. They spend huge sums of money lobbying the government, sponsoring questionable research, and advertising their products to ensure that the status quo and their future, not yours, is protected. But perhaps the biggest factor of all is ignorance. Most people believe that Americans eat a fairly healthy diet and that steak is a good source of fiber. They are ignorant of evidence-based nutritional information that would give them the knowledge they need to distinguish healthy food from unhealthy food. They reason that if the food they are eating is so unhealthy, the news media would be all over it, and their doctors would be warning them about it. But we don't need to be victims of the forces that have led us to where we are today. We can rise above our ignorance, above the advertising, and above our cultural norms to consciously change what we eat, if we are willing to educate ourselves. The bottom line is, no one else is going to protect you from this invisible threat, one that presents a far greater risk to your life in the long term than COVID-19. You have to do it yourself. The best way to begin is by reading books written by Dr. Michael Greger or Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and by visiting Dr. Greger's website, nutritionfacts.org. Then, when you are ready to make the change, read my book, Getting to Healthy, Making the Transition to Eating Real Food, available on Amazon.com, to supercharge your motivation to sustain you through the difficult transition. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and see you next time.